Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Good morning, everybody. Oh, you know what? I should have pulled up my restream chat already. Well, that was I should have thought of that. All right. Well, we've got a pretty packed news day today, folks. If you check here, oops, Forex Factory here. So we've got the CPI data in about 12 minutes. We're expecting a reading of spot 3%, with a prior reading of spot 2, with the core CPI being a spot 2 versus a spot 1. Remember, the core CPI is change in the price of goods and services purchased by consumers, excluding food and energy. So, this should be an important number. If that is at all above the expectation, if we get a reading, actually, frankly, if it met expectation, if we got a reading of spot 3 or a reading of spot 4, that could significantly push the Treasury futures down. So, yeah, we got that going on. Then at the same time, the ECB is going to do their press conference. By the way, good morning, Lucas. Bright and early every time now. He's never late. Good job. Also, I have Kathos Porthis on DLive. Welcome. Good morning. So today is the first day streaming to DLive. Thank you for watching. Let's go to the charts here. So you can see E-mini up a little bit overnight, but if we look over here on this one, we're still mostly within the range. Yesterday was a pretty good downturn, but when you put it in context, not so bad. So that's good. We're happy about that. Can't breathe easy yet though. Oops, sorry. And so yeah, Treasury futures slightly higher as a result, but nothing too spectacular. We're at the low end of the range. I don't know. I think that the probability is that the CPI data, because of spot 3% month over month increase in inflation, is on the higher end of the range of numbers that we've been seeing lately. And if the economy is doing so poorly, people think, okay, so there's the open. They immediately sold it. Interesting. I think the probability is that the CPI is going to be under expectation, but it could really do anything. And if it is above expectations, we're going to get probably a really strong move. So we've got to keep that in the back of our minds. And I think I would rather go short. It does appear that people are trying to sell this ahead of the news. So there's that. And do I have it over? Oh, gotta move it back over here. Okay, cool. So now that we've got that going, it looks to me like my restream window is not necessarily telling me anymore. Can the value of Lino coin rise if the site gets more popular? Don Arima absolutely can. But the thing that you should keep in mind is that could happen slowly. Okay. So we have found that the value of cryptocurrencies is directly tied to their use. So if Lino coin starts to get a lot of use, then eventually the price will rise. Basically what happens is like somebody wants to use Lino, right? They want to like tip somebody on DLive. Then they're going to go, use the things on the site, go into PayPal and buy some Lino, right? And that becomes buy pressure out in the market. And eventually that buy pressure is going to move the market up. But it might not be like immediate. So I wouldn't be out there buying Lino coin on the expectation that like it's going to go to the moon immediately this week. That may or may not happen. You know what I mean? So I hope that that's a reasonable enough explanation. The reason why I'm a little cautious about that kind of point is because Bitcoin just saw a really big rise over the past week, and it was already quite high value speaking wise. Like the amount of actual activity on Bitcoin doesn't really justify this price right now. And so, of course, the market, if people buy, then it's going to go up. But that suggests that most of the people that want to buy Bitcoin, at least, have already bought it. And before we can do much else, there probably has to be a significant sell-off event of some sort. And then we can look back at where we are value-wise to see what the next step is. But right now, I'm expecting that we'll probably get a sell that'll take us back down below 4,000. Might take a while, though. Might take a while. So it sure seems to take a long time. And Alligator says, it looks a bit strange, hard to explain. Why he's talking about why there was so much strong selling on the open. Thanks for the explanation. You're welcome. Hope that's helpful. I have a link in the video description to my Patreon page, and I post a chart every day that shows my calculation of Bitcoin value. So it shows where we are in price relative to what value should be. So when we're between 50 and 100, that generally tends to be fair value. When we're above 100, we're in a bubble. When we're at 150, we're in a severe bubble. And when we're at 200, we are like crash imminent, highest levels ever seen. And right now we're at like 160. In fact, while we're waiting for the news here, let's calculate it. I'll run the batch script that I got every morning. Doesn't necessarily give me a new value every day because it's based on transactions in the blockchain, and you have to get enough transactions that don't get filtered out to be able to say that we have a reliable number. So it doesn't give me one every time. Okay, so nope, not a new one today either. The last one that we got was when Bitcoin was at 51.26. We're at 52.25. So we were reading 158. We're probably like 160, 162 right now. Probably get a new value tomorrow. And so I'm already noticing that the Restream chat does not do it's not showing me everything. Let's see here. I'm getting my live dashboard over here. And this one. Okay, so the next question I'm seeing here is, can crypto replace the normal currency? So my opinion is no. That's probably an unpopular opinion in the crypto community sphere. But that doesn't mean that people won't try. Let me rephrase that. A cryptocurrency could replace real currency. That is, there could be a cryptocurrency. In fact, I'm sure there probably will at some point be a cryptocurrency backed by fiat, like the US dollar. You know, like the Federal Reserve could maybe start a cryptocurrency. That would be really cool. But Bitcoin is not going to replace the dollar. Does that make sense? So the problem with Bitcoin is that it is inherently deflationary. What does that mean? It means that like the value of Bitcoin tends to always go up because the number of Bitcoins out there is always decreasing. Like we mine it, and then we're able to mine less and less of it, and at some point we can't mine anymore. And then people will burn coins, and certain things get rid of coins, or people lose coins, and so over time, the number of bitcoins out there is slowly decreases. So the value of it tends to always be going up. But what happens if the use of the cryptocurrency goes down? People aren't using it as much all of a sudden. Well, you would think that's not as much buy pressure, so the value of Bitcoin is eventually going to go down. And that's what we tend to see happen. And then everybody sees that that's what's happening and they start selling it, right? And there's really nothing to stop that cycle. Like, people are going to sell it until everybody is out. And that is why you see declines in value of like 80%. Well, what happens if your economy is based on that, right? That's like a Great Depression right there. And there's no real reason for people to buy the cryptocurrency. There's nothing that stops that vicious cycle, right? Now, a normal currency, fiat, the US dollar, is inflationary. So if something happens and the economy starts going down, people actually buy dollars. The value of the dollar actually goes up. And that allows the Federal Reserve to then print more money. And so what happens is, even though the value of the dollar is going up, there's more currency out there for people to do stuff with, and that stimulates the economy, and that stops the downward cycle. And so in a cryptocurrency, you'll see a decline of 80%, but in the US economy, 20% is like a really big decline, right? Okay, so we're getting this stuff here. I think I could probably put out some stop orders if we want. Here at the low and 24. Wow, that's really up there though. Okay, so remember, we're looking for spot 3. And then the ECP starts talking, so we're going to be careful. You're going to see a lot of wild stuff happening here when this goes. Well, good. I don't know if I'm seeing you guys on your YouTube comments. Probably aren't there too. It's like JG Mud, good morning. Yeah. Sorry if I'm not able to keep up on everything that everybody says here because, okay. Dang, that sucked. What was the number? Oh, no. Okay. They're giving the total number. It's not the month-over-month number. Now you have to do it over here. Okay, I have a big old fatty order underneath of me. That is good. Oh, I only lost 3 on that. That's fine. Cool. What's the number? Spot 4. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So that buying action that we saw right off of the news release is what I expected to see, but it's not like just continuing straight through. What standards are they using if gold is no longer in the picture? I'm not quite sure what you mean by that, to be honest. Man. Okay, so I had a really good spot there at 21, and somebody sold it. Why? What am I missing here? Core CPI. That's without food and energy was actually spot 1 versus spot 2. Yeah. Okay, so maybe this news is not quite what I thought. The buy is still kind of what I expected, but man, both ways like this, that's pretty crazy. Now, okay, now they're showing it to us. Fix my little profit loss window thing here. All right. Well, that might be it for me today. That didn't work out at all. Well, we probably should wait a good 5 minutes and then see where we're at. Probably still be a lot of opportunity today. So Lucas says they're loving the range. Man, I really wish. Oh, okay, there we go. Okay, I got that one. So I get everybody but D Live on the restream chat right now. Good deal. And low of the day. I don't know. So we're saying that oil went up, cost of energy went up more than expected. That caused the headline inflation number, but the core inflation number was lower. The S&P 500 isn't giving me a super clear indication, but they did buy off of that initial thing and move up, and they are pushing new lows. So yeah, it looks like I got fooled there. Well, we're at a reasonable price too, because we could go and see yesterday's lows, frankly. Liquidity is still a little light though, so I gotta be careful. See, that right there is exactly what we don't want to see. Fuck. Okay. I thought so. Well, that trade was a disaster for me too. It must be D-Live. It's bad luck, guys. I've done pretty well on news events lately, but that just did not work out very well at all. So, hand off for a little bit. We're seeing some signals and stuff, but they're not doing what they normally do. So that means that our edge is not working right here. So I need to back off and not touch it. Interesting. So it's not unusual to see this kind of action in, say, the E-mini, but that whole move down and then back up to the balance is kind of weird for treasuries. Kind of weird for treasuries, and they was kind of saying maybe we're gonna move down, and then they just ticked back up there. I think that I just was caught up in noise. Probably mostly just noise. Lucas says it looks sketchy. I don't know. The thing is that having a reading of 0.1 versus 0.2 on the core inflation isn't really very significant to me. I don't know. Like, you have one is more than expected and one is less than expected. I'm not sure what to make of that. At that point, you would have to go into more detail. So, for instance, here Zero Hedge saying highest rent inflation since April of 2018, 3.7% year over year. ECP Strachey ready to adjust all instruments as necessary. Precise terms of TLTRO will be communicated at forthcoming meetings. So some of this might also just be something that Draghi said. Could totally move us. Yeah, it's moving just a lot, so it's probably Draghi still speaking. Risks to the euro area outlook still tilted to the downside. Underlying inflation is muted, however, he expects an increase in over the medium term. Risks remain tilted to the downside. Yeah, so the thing that I thought was weird is normally, like, I'll have a news event. So, like, last April is like a really good example. Last March, last April, there was a day you can find on YouTube where it was like a big number. I think it may have actually been the Federal Reserve, like the interest rate decision, right? And you'll see move and it'll come up, and then there will be a big 5K on the bid. And you can buy, right above that, and generally it will just go. And today we saw that twice, and it failed us twice. And not only that, but we didn't get a whole lot of favorable ticks on any of these either, so. So that's why I'm like, this is weird. Things aren't working. Looking foolish, etc., etc. But it's okay. I guess that happens sometimes. I think I shouldn't have taken so many. Because having 4 there, that really hurts in the long run. Now they do appear to be holding this area. Maybe they do eventually push higher. I don't know. Seems kind of sketch, U.S. consumer prices rebound in March, but real wage growth slumps. Shipyard evacuated after bomb reportedly discovered aboard nuclear submarine. What? ECB Draghi says mildly expansionary fiscal policies support the economy. Mildly expansionary. Uzi says, holy shit. Huh, yeah. That's a wild market, right? It has calmed down significantly. And it's interesting that we're like, I think this is, well, I'm having a hard time seeing it here. Let me refresh this chart because my indicator's not quite working right. Okay. Yeah, we're like right where we started. The open was 19.5. See that iceberging at 21.5? Now that I've put an order in, they're probably going to start selling it. They saw it. Oh, Uzi was talking about the bomb on a nuclear submarine. That whole thing is a little bizarre. How do you get a bomb on a nuclear submarine? That is something that is either going to turn into like this huge story that we hear about later, and like everybody's, like there's a big long saga on, or like we're never going to hear another thing about it again, and we're just going to be like, hey, remember that one time there was a bomb on the nuclear? What happened with that? Wrong's all what? I don't know what. It's that they said that there was a bomb on a nuclear submarine, and they evacuated the whole harbor. Draghi, it's too early to decide on tiered negative rates. Okay, well, I expected that 21.5 to hold, and it didn't. I'm still kind of within the range, so I think it might be okay. But as of yet, it's not behaving the way that I wanted it to. It's too easy to discuss the terms of the TLTRO, too early to decide about hearing needs further analysis. That 21 is looking weak, but they're not taking it yet, and there is an iceberg there in the 5-year. Ten-year ticked down, 5-year didn't. More iceberging. I just read that the feds broke up a $1.2 billion Medicare scam involving call centers peddling unneeded orthopedic braces to people. Ooh, that makes me so happy. I get those phone calls all the effing time. I'm only 37. I'm not on Medicare, but I still get those calls. Oh my gosh, I get so many spam calls. I probably get a spam call every day. I think that what happened was my phone number was on the list because of like the local caucuses, like Republican caucus in Utah is a big thing. Like if you want to be involved in the primaries at all, basically you have to go to your caucus. And then somebody sells your number to a scammer, and then you get scam calls all the time. You get so many of them. But usually it's like the warranty on your car is expiring. Draghi, clearer that side of market-based inflation expectations corresponds to deterioration of economic outlook. Okay. Draghi is in rereading mode today. This will be boring, says Fernando Guiliano. Guiliano. Okay, well, there was a pretty big iceberg in the 5-year. They pushed through it and are balancing out, and it's against me again. Scam cars blew up for us after we bought our house. That's interesting. So I got one favorable tick on that. So I'm a little miffed here because some of this action does appear a little bit random to me, but I've been wrong 5 times in a row now. How does that happen? And it's not even like, oh, it's just noise and you got, you just happen to get stopped out. No, like I'm not even getting ticks in my favor, am I? What's with that? What am I doing wrong here? Well, buying at 21.5 is probably wasn't the best place to buy, was it? I knew it at the time, but it was showing some pressure. Now they're balancing at 20, which says to me that I'm gonna get stopped. Yep. Well, 19.5 would be a place to buy it. Can't really do it now. You just got to be a bit more patient. Oh, hey, in 7 minutes here, we're going to get the world's first image of a black hole. That's exciting, right? Hmm. Well, they look fairly happy here at 20. That's the bottom of this range. 19.5 was the open. We had a push lower that got rejected, and then we got pushed back up here, and now we've just kind of been ranging. They might have another sell push. Hmm. Well, something may have just changed there in the 10-year. Because they were pushing back and forth, but then that last time it was like when they bought it back up, they didn't get the sell immediately again. I'm doing it in the 5-year too. Let's reset it. ZT looks really stable considering everything that's going on. Well, now the 17 is looking maybe. Okay, they did go for 20.5. And some orders hitting at 21 too. Probably a couple of retail guys stopping out at 21. I hope it look amazing, but as cool as science is, things like this turn out to be a letdown for us regular people. I don't know. I think that it seems to me like they've been hyping the image up. So they must have learned something really important from the image, I think. Because if it was just like all of the artist conceptions, then I don't think that they would be making it that. I don't know. I suppose that the media could be hyping it up, but And not the scientists, but okay, so that was a pretty big buy there. Hit 21. Hit an iceberg. That's very curious. I do see this big order up here, 19.5 in the 5-year. Has been there basically from the news and is still there. Traki Euro area bank profitability similar to Japan. Well, they ticked it down. Actually says I got 3 MFE. That's not right. I only got 2. Considering they're taking more than a year just to render the image and interpret what's going on, tells us it's going to be shady. Oh, I don't know about that. The process that they're using to make the image is pretty complicated, right? Because you've got, we can't actually see the black hole. There's dust in the way. And so they're looking at different wavelengths of light and taking a lot of data so that they can try and see through it. We'll see. 1 minute. Equity market is pretty all over the place too. Draghi dispel any impression we would tolerate too low inflation. Uh-huh. I guess he's saying that because people have been complaining about the Federal Reserve undershooting their target, and he's saying that's not gonna happen to us. Exit polls in Israel indicate that Netanyahu has enough support to remain prime minister, but Hillary won the popular vote, says Sky Adams. So he's saying it's probably not a sure thing. Considering black holes absorb the light. Well, no, I mean, there's like an accretion disk, and there is light that can come off of it, right? And that can reach us. But the center of our galaxy, there's so much dust between us and the center of our galaxy that it's very difficult for us to see what's in there. Otherwise, you would probably be able to see it just with the naked eye from the night sky. But if you look at pictures of the Milky Way, you'll notice that there's kind of like a line through it. This is the dust. I'll find a picture. See right here? See how there's like this dark area? That's the dust. So we can't really see the center of the Milky Way very well. Ticks up. Jockey, deliberation to use all instruments was unanimous. We're not yet had discussion on instruments. Okay. EU officials. Oh, there's a periscope. No, I don't want the periscope. Okay, so they're doing a press conference of it. And they haven't shown it to us yet. So we'll see here. Okay. So I bought it at 22 at one point. They're kind of giving me the impression that they could continue. I think I'd have to, we should move this. Okay. So that right there is, I'll take one contract off. Oh, whoops. Oh, that's weird. Wonder why it did that. Okay, well, whatever. Well, for it to range back and forth here is actually a good thing. I mean, it doesn't mean that it's more likely to continue to push through, per se. Like that it's more likely than not, but it's probably more likely to continue to push through than if we had already taken a step down. Okay. Well, that redeems some of our mistakes, I guess. Today's meeting was one where the main goal was to reassert the readiness to act if the contingency warranted, so it was not an operational meeting. So there was an iceberg there at 22 when they sold it down. Okay, so I am seeing an image here now. He's showing an animation. I don't know if that is actually the thing or not. I'm sure that they will release a more a high resolution image on the internet afterwards, I'm sure. But that does not look like the image that I've been seeing for artist conceptions, though. Well, 22's still holding an okay bid. Okay. So interesting. 10 years. Yeah, it's not what most expected. Well, it does look to me like there's an accretion disk and that there's more light on one side than the other, indicating, um, whatever they call it, Doppler effect or whatever. But it's not quite so clear. It's not like as clear as like these artist conceptions. Like I don't see like a little ring. Ooh. Whoa, wait, what? What? Okay. That's a little better. I'm thinking they might try and push the high of the date because it seems to me like somebody really doesn't want this to move up. Now he's showing how they actually get it, how they use the radio telescopes to actually get the picture. Five years definitely pushing highs there, but they're not all lined up. Ace trade's probably looking at a fill short at 28.8775 or higher if it moves up. Catch it on the way down again. You think so? So you're still looking for a short, huh? Over here in the bond market, I think that we're still not quite sure how to read this news because it moved all over the place. I suppose we did just get a tick higher, but I don't know. The 5 year really moved up there. It really had to reach to get 19. So to have a level break and stop run higher right now would be a little weird. Ace didn't actually catch the price he wanted. Okay. So you see that? They get there and it's all drama. The level 2 is all crazy. I want to see if they tick up again. If is there absorption on the bid? Okay, now we're catching some selling in the E-mini. Yeah, Ace says don't chase. My guy over at this CME says it's gonna drop. Okay. Well, I don't know. Treasuries are kind of acting like they think that this 24 half level is a big deal, but they're not able to hold a bid at 24, so I'm still not sure. See, the bid at 24, the offer at 24 is actually stacking up now. And they hit at 23 half and there was an iceberg there. And the 5-year takes back up and 19 pulls. It's 24 and the 10-year gonna pull. Haters gonna hate, don't be angry because I well, that 24 offer is not pulling yet. If that pulls, then I think that it's game on. Okay. It's pulled a little bit. Hasn't flipped. There it flipped. Okay. It did tick up. Now this is where we might see absorption in 24. So French toast or scrambled egg sandwiches. Oh man, I haven't made an egg sandwich in a long time. I've been eating quiche from Costco with spinach in it. I tell you what, when you get those really icky greens like the Brussels sprouts and spinach, kale, those sorts of things, it's good. They feel good. We really are deficient in some of those vitamins and minerals in our diet in modern society. I did waffles yesterday, 2 days in a row. The animals in the ark will riot. Oh, oh my gosh. So, as you recall, my family was off on vacation without me last week, and they came back. And they have been so crazy since we've come back. And apparently my wife says they were actually quite troublesome while they were gone too. But like yesterday, it was one kid's turn to have the iPad and the other kid didn't want to give it up. And oh my gosh, she threw the wildest temper tantrum I think I have ever seen. Like we told her to go to timeout and she was yelling all sorts of crazy stuff at us. Like, and she's like, she's 5 or 6, right? But the things that she was saying was just like insane. Like, how can anybody think? She's like, I'm in charge. I'm like, no, you're the youngest one here, hon. Keep telling yourself quiche is good. It's spelt with a Q. Quiche. Quiche. Keech. That's spelled like some sort of, like that's what happens when you fart or something like. Yes, quiche. There you go. Okay, so I should note that they did take 24 offer again, and there wasn't. I mean, they bought it, but it wasn't unusual absorption at 24. And they're kind of ranging back and forth based off of what the 5-year is doing. Okay, so at least one order went off at 24.5. So it looks like Ace didn't really get his trade, but he's going to put a Sim 1 on, huh? I don't think I want to mess with the mini until 8 o'clock. Especially since I'm not 100% sure what the treasuries want to do. So taking a Sim trade is probably good. Okay, so they're at 24. That's what I was waiting to see. 3,200 on the bid. All of the treasuries lined up. That's a level break setup. So now let's see if they trade 24.5. Do we see stops? We don't really have any big orders up above us either. The biggest one is the one that I have my order at. Okay, now today hasn't been like a clear 100% trend, so this level break isn't guaranteed to happen. That's a lot at 24, though. And the amount of defense that they played on the way up here. Well, the 5-year has to hold that bid. Come on. Okay. Okay. Stack to 7. Okay. So I'm seeing some people put some targets up even further above me now, like all the way up at 28 even. There's this price level at 25. That's pretty critical. Beyond that is 27. Well, Okay, well, it's still acting like there's a possibility of going through it, but um it's enough of a key level that for me I don't want to risk everything on whether or not it breaks. So I also don't like that 24 is a little weak. That might that might just be a trick, but I think I can get filled here at 24 half. Let's see. Okay. So they went bid at 24 half now. Let's see if they go for it. How are we doing over here? Am I still getting all of the... Okay, yes and yes. I hear children waking up. Still got at least one friend with us on D Live. Thank you for watching. I have to say, today has not been the greatest day to come in. I really think that I was off my rocker trading that much during the time period that I did. But when things calmed down and I saw an opportunity to buy, I took it. So, man, they are just so much at 24. I really would like to still be long, but I've learned that when you get up into something like this, it's usually better to be able to take the profit and then just kind of sit and see what it does. Suppose that I could have held my original one and gotten the full, you know, that probably would have been a little bit better. That would have been another additional 2 ticks, and then I could have kept both contracts on and so on and so forth. If I had kept both contracts on, then I'd be up today. Anyways, I like the level break trade so much, but I know that the probability of it actually going through here is really like 50-50. And even though it looks like they're absorbing a ton there, this 25 is such a key level. You know, if we really break above 25, you could get a real trend ape, you know? So that's why, like, the probability of it, I think, is low enough that I need to be cautious here. Okay, there they took it. Strong bid too. Not really that much drama on the take either. Well, 2 minutes to the equity open. I'm not sure I want to mess with this. Let's just let it do its thing. See, I'm not sure. Is the E-mini going to drop here? I actually think you're in a good spot to try and short it. What do you think about ES this morning? I think that this does appear to be a potential short area, but it's very difficult for me to know because it's not entirely clear what the E-mini is, or sorry, what the treasuries are doing over here. Like the treasuries had a pretty clean, well, not clean. Let's just say how do I do this? The initial move was up, and then we retraced that, and we pushed the other side of it, and then we came back to balance, and then we moved higher. And we broke the high of the day, and we got to where we are now at 25. The E-mini initially bought on the news, and which is not in line with what the treasuries did initially, but then was in line with when the treasuries went down. But the E-mini hasn't really reacted too strongly to the news, and it's been back and forth. And so even though treasuries are up, we're not sure. Okay. So that right there kind of says to me that maybe we should be selling the E-mini. Let's try it. These guys in treasuries are battling it out. There's been some pretty big orders going, pretty big block buys and sells. But the initial drive volume in the E-mini does appear to be short. And we did see some iceberging there for us to catch it with. Okay. I can be happy with that. R2, not sure if it can go much higher. ZF not ticking up. CB10 global looks done too. Needs another impulse to break that, maybe from equity / yen. Otherwise looks done to me. Are we getting a move in the end? We are getting a move in the end. But it's kind of a steppy move. Okay. So that would happen. The E-mini ticked up and the treasuries ticked down. But it was not, like the E-mini's not necessarily holding a, like it hasn't. Now, I guess we gotta mess with that. Look at those offers stacking up. This might be able to go higher again. But this looks like a pullback, at least. The E-mini does appear to be risk on. Somebody does want to sell this in treasuries, that is. Okay, looks like the black hole thing is done. Okay, here it is. Look at that. So they did buy it up in equities, and the buy was more than the sell that we caught. So this is still, even though I caught a little bit of a short there in the E-mini, I think I'm still unsure about the way this is all going to resolve itself. 183 megabyte TIFF image. What the heck? And now, if we thought that the E-mini was going to fall apart, we could say that this is a pullback. 24.5 was where the overnight high was originally, and so you would want that 24.5 to hold, and you could potentially take it for a new high. There you go, like that. But that's just like one tick up because of a little bit of selling. Like, I don't know. Man. That's it. Like, that's the picture of the black hole. So I think that's where everybody's like, okay. So that to me in the E-mini looks like somebody bought it and then took profits. Now there's some disagreement here at 2888.50. We did, when we came back down to that 23.5, it did thicken up. Yeah, look at that. We're probably going to miss it in the E-mini. See, nobody's even selling this. I think I sold at the wrong spot in the E-mini. Okay. Whew. It'll be funny if this doesn't get filled at 25.5. Whoa. Okay. Too much disagreement in the E-mini for me. It's messing with my head. How many trades have I taken? Okay. 11. Wow, a lot of iceberging at 26 as well. And it keeps going bid there. Or did I take that in the E-mini? 87.50. Yeah, see, I did the right thing there. Just that it wasn't a great spot. Wow. What's past 27? This is just ticking so erratically, you know? Yeah, this could be that the E-mini and Treasuries both go up, sort of a thing. Like it could be ECB still dovish, inflation not that bad, Treasuries will remain elevated, but it's not really making an impact in the short term on equity indexes, and so the better interest rates just mean good things for the E-mini, and so the E-mini goes up. That could be what's happening. Just to make sure I got all my stuff up here. How are you guys doing on D-Link? So for those of you on D-Link, does the stream good? Like the video quality and everything works correctly? Yeah. Okay. They're still absorbing there at 26.5. I don't know. So it's unusual when we have a move up like that and then you start seeing the block orders. That's usually a signal that like to take profits. So that's why I did it. And my goal was to get above break even after commissions, which we did. So that's cool. I don't know why it's not showing that correctly, but it'll fix itself eventually. So yeah, obviously this thing here at the beginning was awful. Just terrible trading up here at the beginning. I don't know what the deal was with that. It's just all of a sudden my edge was negative. Because I at least I guess there was a couple of those that I shouldn't have taken, right? But some of these were good signals, and they just meant the opposite, that that they have in the past. So I don't know. You can hear the kids yelling and screaming in the background now. But that means that they're all up. So tell you what, I'm not necessarily like this time period. There might be an after 8 o'clock trade. So go make sure that they're actually all eating. And oh no, wait, you know what? Let's post the Patreon notes first. New. ETC. ETC looks like it's on its way back down, guys. I don't know. That's usually not a good sign. It's hard to read too much from these coins because the data that I have isn't as filtered or reliable. But that's usually not the best sign. LTC just looks like so manipulated. What about Verge? Verge is probably still dead as ever. Yep. Well, they did move up with everybody else, though. Verge looks severely undervalued still. Okay, so I bought at 55. I took +2. It does look like I could have gotten +3. And the bid is still absorbing like we could get even more than that. And I really am wondering if they're going to go up to 29. Also, there's some really big bids showing up in the 5 year. That's kind of interesting. But just the price action, like the thing is 27 what should have been a pretty important level too. And they definitely traded a bunch there, but that didn't stay bid. So I'm still of the opinion. Well, I think you're a trend day, so I think you definitely would be better off buying, but I'm not 100% sure if it's going to continue from here and go up to 29 and above or not. Like there was a bit of a sell there in the E-mini, and then they just kind of pulled back from it. Well, at least one guy in our equity indexes room thinks that the E-mini is long, but I don't know. It's interesting. All right, so I'm going to step away for a moment and I'll be right back. Okay, so we're back. 26 half has gone to offer. Silkaji just as a pullback. Could still just be a pullback. Not sure. Um, Peter says that he's short the 10. So that 26 That's unusual amount of selling there, 26. The absorption is not necessarily the right way either. In fact, in the 5-year, it's actually been a little bit down. And some of those offers are kind of saying to us maybe. See, they're egging this like there's certainly somebody out there that thinks that the E-mini is going to sell. Because the E-mini barely even ticks down and they're ticking back up. See that? But I'm starting to see more and more sell orders. So for instance, at 26, well, just look at the tape. You can't see the tape. Look at this tape right here. All through here, buying, 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 buying. But then ever since they touched 27, somebody tried to buy it, and then it got cleared short. And ever since then, it's been mostly selling. I'm not sure. The thing is that for starters, we did get over the 27, and generally speaking, we would tend to go up, continue to 29. That those big orders in the 5-year, I think that's kind of resolved itself. Like we had a pullback, and now it's done. The E-mini could still be buying like that. Appears to me that they sold it, and it how do I say, they sold it and it was rejected. Yeah, I don't know. There is 26 goes offer now. So it's not the best risk reward for you to go short. You would much prefer 26 half or 27. But that is kind of out the bottom of the range now. We could see a reversal. But for me to take it, I think I would have to see much stronger indications for me to just like take a straight out reversal, right? See, they are acting like they think that they could go down through here too. Oh, there's the alligator posted at the Draghi press conference. Could have watched it. But I was too lazy to go and find it. They're pushing down towards lows again. This is the spot to buy it if you want to go long. Not so sure. Well, I would still have to prefer buying over selling because I haven't seen any clear reversal signal. The E-mini is certainly threatening down for the low, but they're not just like straight up going for it or anything. You know, you get this thing down here where if that goes, you could maybe see some drama. I actually am seeing absorption at 26 now as well. Oh my. Oops, that was a misclick. Fine. Yep. They look like they're going to go for it. So if we break down through the bottom here, we're going to go down to yesterday's lows. Yeah. Just let it happen. Yes, just let it happen. Good grief. Okay, well. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 times 354 is $46. But I still made $100. Well, could have been a $500 day if it wasn't for all of that bullshit. I don't know. This is kind of interesting action still. The market is the bond market is telling us something. The Fed's body count rises. What? Yeah, somebody that doesn't like the Federal Reserve's policy. Smash the Bid says impressive comeback. I don't know, man. Well, I mean, here's the thing. When the market trends, I tend to do well. We had a trend that just kept going, and I was able to pick some okay spots and get it. So that was good. So in my head, I'm not really thinking about it as an impressive comeback. You know, I'm just thinking of it as there. I'm just trying to do my best on every trade, and I'm getting the action that I like. But this right here, something definitely happened there. Right? If I was trading my live account, I would not have done all that. Like I would switch over to sim as soon as I had 3 losers in a row. So it wasn't really a comeback in that respect, was it? So the real issue here is why did this happen? Because definitely there was some really good action afterwards, and so we need to make sure that we don't get that sort of a thing. I think that if I pull this chart over here, we can see this, right? Yes. I think if we pull this and we zoom in a little bit and we go to when the news happened, so at 6:30 right here, it came up and it was 10 seconds before it came back to the news price. Whereupon we could have bought again at 20. Now I did buy at 21, but which wasn't actually the best spot in the range, and then it went lower. And then when we were down here, I tried selling it for who knows why. Sold 18 too. I'm like, what the hell? And then I bought. So that the market went up and then down and then eventually resolved higher was what screwed me up. I think that, you know, I could have tried the as she goes, but I didn't really know what was going on. So I think that what I should have done was I should have, um, yeah, I think I should have been patient and held until I really understood what the result of the news was. And then at that point, seeing that the market was really tumbling around and there was the ECB press conference and everything like that, I think that maybe that was what really messed me up. So I really think I should have just held. And then when did we take our first long? Was at 6:53, you know? So um, here, I took that at totally the right spot. But I think I should have waited until after at least 15 minutes, let's say. After 15 minutes and then decided, okay, there was a lower, it was rejected, I can just buy it. And then after that, some of this, like this one right here, I could have held and made a little bit more on that. This one right here, I actually think I could have held and made a little bit more on it. This one at 5.5. Maybe I was just being a little impulsive there. Both of these really. This one was technically a misclick. This one was actually a good trade. I actually think that I did exactly the right thing that I should have done in ES there. Caught the drop and then saw that it wasn't going any further and just took it off. So yeah. But I appreciate. I'm impressed that some of you lurkers that still tune in every day, and even though some are critical, are still watching and are still with me. So I appreciate that. The thing that bothers me the most about today, though, is the number of trades that it took. Like if I could consolidate that all down to maybe 2 trades, that would be a lot better. I think that I take too many trades in general. I would rather be taking 3 trades a day, like 3 trades a day, and you make 3 to 4 ticks on them. That would be good. But when I'm taking, like, good grief, almost 12, that's like 9. Yeah. We saw there was like, what, $30 in commissions or something like that? So. Well, I think that was my 8:30 time period trade. Wow. It's so crazy. It's crazy to me that I FOMO'd in at 27 and I still got 3 ticks out of it. Oh, I took it at exactly the right spot too. Oh, so good. But it's crazy to me that even if I hadn't taken that profit, I would still be at break even. Like, what? 29 though is, if we go over 29, then you're looking at potentially 050. I don't know. It would be really difficult for them to go much further than that. In my opinion, the important part is to find the edge first. You can always reduce costs later, Lisa C. Yeah, totally. Well, yeah, so I think there are 3 parts to that for me, right? So I do have some edge for sure, but we still need to deal with this seasonality issue, right? So understanding when we have the edge and when we don't is still something that I haven't completely proven out, right? The number 2 thing is that we still have some times where I have it wrong and I get a bunch of losers in a row. And on today, I guess I could have been a little bit like after losing that first one, I could have just waited 15 minutes and things probably would have been a lot better for me. But there's been other ones that weren't. Anyways, I think that is not like, I don't think that there's going to be like some big secret to getting rid of those. It's just going to be little things here and there being, like we said today, this is what I could have done to have avoided that loss. Okay, cool. And then if we get rid of that, then that really makes a big difference on my profitability, right? Because I've given up so much. Like, it's really quite amazing how up I am in the past little while, considering how many bad losses I've had along the way. But I've kept a positive equity curve. And then we can get the commissions down, a lot. So I was looking at it yesterday because somebody commented on the video and they're like, nah, it's technically not profitable when you consider the commissions. But he was calculating it that commissions were $250 a side, which would be crazy in the 10-year. No, I pay $177 a side, so it's $254 basically, round turn for me through AMP, $354. If I have if I was able to build my account over 10K and pay their flat fee, I can get it down to like $250. And that would make a big difference, right? A couple $100. So totally can. But yeah, first important part is to find edge first. That's probably the hardest part. And if you don't have the edge, it's really difficult to really be seeing or doing anything right on the other side. So, yeah. And I guess the other side, I apologize for the ridiculousness in the background, by the way. But I think the most important part is that I'm still enjoying it, and I'm not like falling apart when I have bad losses anymore. I think that I went through a long time period last year where any kind of loss just really seemed to get me down. My gosh. Oh, but I missed here. Dead hookers under my bed. Thank you for following. No, so if you're still there, well, probably you're not. I didn't see that comment early enough. I did catch a couple of you guys here on D Live today. I have 2 people watching right now. I think it's been pretty steady at 2 all day. And of course, we have got about a dozen people or so. Yeah. Well, you lost a lot of days in a row. You're not a robot. Yeah. So I think Smashed Bit is referring to like from about May until September. It was really bad for me, right? I think that I've made some adjustments because one of the things was I was trying to really play the range. And I think that when I was doing that, I wasn't really seeing order flow signals so much as just, oh, it's range. Let's try to take it one. And then they would take me out every time. Now I think that I'm a little bit better at just saying, okay, my risk reward is really good. And I'm seeing a slowdown in momentum and some big guys trying to push it the other way. And I can take that. And so even if it's a slow day, I should be able to get a little bit of trend, and then I just know, I think I have a much better feel for what the action is to know that, okay, I just take 3 and be done. But yeah, I mean, I just did so terrible last summer. And I think even still, I mean, let's see how we do over this time period on the sim. But I'm going to guess that even if we do really, really well, that next year when the summer comes along, I'm just going to trade sim. That seems to be the way to do it. Anyways, I do have to get going here in 5 minutes, so I don't know if now is like the best time to go into like a huge explanation of what you're seeing on the screen. But on my YouTube channel, if you just look up Speculator Seth on YouTube, one of the first videos that I posted was a walkthrough of the workspace, and even though it looks a little bit different now, it still tells you what's what. And then it'll give you a really good idea of what we're doing. And I think once you understand what we're doing, it's kind of like it opens a whole new world of trading that I think most people don't know exists. Even a lot of traders don't know exists. So I definitely encourage you guys to check that out. Let's see, anything else here before I head out? I mean, they're still holding, so there is a possibility that they go up for another new high. Would not be the least bit surprised. How many ticks is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Could also do the zipper reversal higher. That would be weird. Okay. Yeah, I think that's it. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I will catch you guys tomorrow. We'll have PPI data, and PPI data is often a bigger mover than the CPI data. And we won't have the ECB press conference to create all sorts of crazy volatility. What's this wrong? ES can go high. Yeah. I mean, the thing that's really weird to me about all this action is that the treasuries are really pushing up, and the E-mini is, anytime that the E-mini moves down a little bit, the treasuries start going. But then at the end of the day, the E-mini is not all that awful right now. Maybe they really sell it later. We'll just see. This is very hard for me to predict how this is going to resolve in the E-mini, because the market looks conflicted to me. There's people taking big trades both ways right now. Now, it may be the case that nobody's really drawing the line in the sand yet, because they still want to see the rest of the data that's later this week, right? So there's PPI. And then on Thursday, we've got core PPI. Yeah, sorry, tomorrow is core PPI and unemployment claims. And then Friday, we get like the consumer sentiment and inflation numbers and import prices. So, those are all important things. And then the week after that, I think, is pretty not a whole lot. Beige book on Wednesday. Thursday looks good, but the news really lines up after this week. So I think what we might see happen is a lot of trade tomorrow, and then things might really drop off. That's the time period that I'm worried about. Yeah, you see all of the trades that I took there, Lucas? That whole thing is ridiculous. The thing that's funny to me too is this one I was really confident in, and so I took two contracts on it. But look, I could have taken 2 contracts on that one, right? Frankly, any of these. So not this one. This one, if I had gotten filled at the right price, I might have taken 2 contracts, and that would have been really good too. So it could have been even better. But that's just, I always like to point that out, just because it's like, okay, if I was amazing at this, how much could you make? Because I always sit down and look at it like, okay, does this show that you can be profitable using this method? Well, I think I've proven that you can be profitable using this method, but I'm only marginally profitable. But you can see how if I was good at it, and maybe someday I will be, I think it'll take a couple more years to be really good at it. I've come a long way in 3, right? But if you were really good at it, you could see how you could really make some fucking money, right? Anyways, All right, it is now 8:30. Thank you guys for watching. By the way, for all you guys on like YouTube and Twitch, check out the D link, or sorry, D Live link. It's dlive.tv/speculator and give me a follow over there. My understanding is that based on like the people watching, and then when you guys like comment on D Live, you actually make Lino, which is a cryptocurrency. So we could get like a good little economy going there, maybe. So you know, you can watch wherever you want. That's totally cool. But just like go and give it a look. You know, like make an account, give it a follow, see what you think about it, and then tomorrow we can talk about it or whatever. Right? Cool. Anyways, thank you guys all. I will catch you guys tomorrow. In the meantime, stay profitable, friends.